Good morning, St. Paul. This is your Un-Bougie foodie, Wesley, right here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wonderful Saturday morning. It's kind of gloomy, I know. But that's okay. You're here with me this morning. And I want to thank you for taking the time to just sit back and enjoy some conversations about food or different subjects in reference to it. So if you're having that cup of coffee, having some cereal, my favorite, Frosted Flakes at that, yeah. This is going to be just, the time where don't worry about anything. Think about just food. And that's the purpose of this show, giving you some ideas of new places to go in your area, new cuisines to possibly have or even make yourself. Nothing wrong with that. I think everybody loves them. Okay, maybe not everybody, but people like to cook. I like to cook. Other people like to cook too. So I really enjoy that part of this show, is being able to share things like recipes or maybe a cuisine that's new to myself, maybe even new to you. That'll give you an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to step out the box and have that. So let's get started with today's show. First and foremost, though, if you have any comments or would like to share maybe a thought or a suggestion on maybe a new restaurant, recipe, so forth, please feel free to call me here at the radio station. The number is 651-200-3479. Again, 651-200-3479. I am here to take your phone calls. But then too, if you just want to follow me on Facebook, please feel free to do so. You can find me at the Un-Bougie foodie. But also check out some pictures that I've posted on Instagram or even at times on Twitter. My Instagram account is _Un-Bougie foodie. Twitter is at Un-Bougie foodie. And then more about me, if you would, or about the Un-Bougie foodie and the show, go to my webpage. It is www.theunbougiefoodie.com. And you can find out information about articles that I've written on various topics, as well as places that I've gone to, daily topics of food that I have with friends, or places that we've gone to. So just know that you have a number of resources to find out what the Un-Bougie foodie is up to on a day-to-day basis. So thank you again for taking the time to join me for this Saturday morning, taking a seat with the Un-Bougie foodie. So today's show is going to be it's going to be a little I'm being funny here. I'm making a pun, sort of. It's going to be a little stinky because we're going to be talking about garlic. So, I have had this opportunity, or had an opportunity to find out, I guess this was years ago, actually, about, I didn't know that there were so many varieties of garlic. Do I say in the world? Honestly, growing up, I thought garlic was garlic. It was not until I had an opportunity to a friend when I first came to Minnesota. We went to the St. Paul Farmers Market, and they knew that I liked to make salsa, or pico de gallo, actually, because salsa is a different version of whatever. Pico de gallo. And with my pico de gallo, I had a whole lot of stuff. But garlic is one of the main ingredients, aside from, hello, tomatoes, onions, all the other stuff. But garlic, I don't know. I'd say a little bit more earthy, um, pungent, but again, more flavor than all the other ingredients that I'm putting in there, along with the different spices, like cumin, salt, pepper, um, so on. Garlic has to be in it. It has to be. There's no way to get around it. And I mentioned about the variety and about St. Paul Farmers Market because, they took me down there and, they introduced me to this gentleman. At first, I walked up to, his booth or his table, and I'm just seeing like bundles of garlics. And I didn't realize, at first, the different names that were on there. And so I asked him, I was like, what's this one? Or what's this one? And he proceeded to tell me specifically. And the friend that was there, she said, you have to tell him about these two. And the two that she pointed to, I will always remember because these are ones that I feel that I need to have in my life all the time. You can't really find them just anywhere. The first is Georgian Fire and Enchilium Red. And I'll describe what those are or how those are in just a moment. But, I had the opportunity of sampling, if you would, those garlics. And let me back up a little bit. The person that I was talking to, the vendor, is the herb man. And he's there, the St. Paul Farmers Market, it's winter time now, so, he's not going to be available during the winter time. Most oftentimes he's there during the summer and spring, summer, more so the summer, actually. Summer, early fall. And he has these wonderful garlics available. So he said, okay, I told him what I do, and he's like, well, you need to put either one of these in them, and I'm going to give you a bulb of one of each, and you come back and tell me what you like about it or what's great about it. And so I did that. I was a little skeptical. Now, mind you, I'm thinking with garlic at that time, I was like, oh yeah, it's the same garlic. How different can it actually be? And with garlics, and I think with any vegetable sometimes, especially when it's fresh, or just picked, harvested, I like to smell vegetables. Garlic is no different. I love garlic. I really do. I love the smell of it, the flavor profiles that it adds to food, and then to find out that it has there are different varieties. I was in. So, when he gave it to me, I'm smelling the garlic bulb that he gave me on one. And I was like, wow, I smelled this peppery type of, I didn't know garlic could smell like this. And then on the other, it was, I want to say a bit floral, but some spice to it. And I was like, really? I didn't know that these had different scents to them. Anyway, took them home, put them in my, I made pico de gallo. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how much different can this be? And my friends definitely, when they've had my pico de gallo or salsa, whichever you'd like to call it, I take it to work. Hey, where's my? What have you done? What have you done to your? What have you done to your? I'll just say salsa because that's what they talk about and what they say. I won't say pico de gallo. What have you done to your salsa? I'm like, what do you mean? Whatever you've done, you took it to another level. And I'm like, okay, Why do you say that? It's like, we know that how you like, certain spice and, your heat, because I add chilies, 3 different types of chilies to it, 4 sometimes. But the garlic flavor was more pronounced more than anything, and they loved it. And so I took note of that, and I was like, okay, that was the Georgian fire, that I made and I put in to, this version of the pico de gallo. And I'm thinking, okay, well, why is it that this is so special? Why is it so different? Well, let's go a little bit to. I'm gonna give you an idea, or I suppose you want to say a flavor profile of it. So I went to a website. I was doing research. I went to a website, and it's www.keenorganics.com. Keen Organics, KEENE Organics.com, and they have a number of different garlic descriptions, if you would, and I found it to be helpful. So for Georgian fire, it is one that they stated that it's one of the hottest tasting garlic varieties. It has a pleasant hotness, though. So they said it's great for salsas, easy for peeling, because of the size of the cloves, really big. And it originated from the Republic of Georgia. And I was thinking, wow, how is it that garlics can have these different type of heat or spice levels to them? And you're probably wondering, okay, well, where can I get this? Like I said, it's very difficult to find this particular, Georgian fire or in Chilean red. I always have to go to the herb man to find them. I haven't been able to, unless you're going to order it online, it's very difficult to find. But again, being one of, as they describe it, one of the hottest tasting, it's not like you're having a habanero or jalapeno or something as though that's been infused with that. No, it's just the way that that particular variety, and it's referred to as a porcelain garlic, this type of garlic, considering that where it's coming from, where it originated from, it is going to have that spice or that peppery type of flavor profile to it. Especially in, it comes out in late winter, early spring. So, it's just one that I find interesting, because I wanted to, it was a pork chop, as a matter of fact, and I just wanted to, pour a little butter over it, but I wanted to have the butter be the Chilean red. And yes, of course, I did buy regular garlic too, but still, these two seem to have notes of great flavors that you can't find in Chilean red. It's described, it's a mild flavored garlic. It has a roasted flavor note to it. It's great. They use example overpowering, and it has its own. It does very well during the summer. It has great it pairs well with uh, shrimp, with chicken, and vegetables like green bean, what is it, snap peas, or any type of, if you're using it for instance, for roasting asparagus, and you're mixing it in with a bit of salt and pepper, and placing that, just crumbling that over asparagus or maybe Brussels sprouts and roasting that. It does very, very well with that mild flavor, but still giving it that garlic, a nice roasted garlic, added roastedness to the flavors of the vegetables, or even the chicken, or we'll say a shrimp dish that you're doing. It's perfect for it. Those two, they're really great. There are so many other different types of garlics that are out there. I'm still learning about them, honestly. Specifically the Georgian fire, you want to put that in something that is going to have some type of spice already. This adds a different layer of hotness, or you know, herb garlic butter. It's just a thought. Okay, so now that I've talked about that, some types of garlics, well, those different types of garlics themselves, they have different classes or groups that they fit under. It goes on. But, elephant and buffalo, yeah. I'm not sure if you've really seen those. I don't think I've seen those. And if I have, that you see very often in your local grocery store, and if you are one of the few and many that have opportunity to go to places like a garlic festival, like if you're in California, Gilroy Garlic Festival, or I don't recall if Minneapolis has something that's called a garlic festival. I'll have to find out and let you all know. So, a little bit more about this garlic. Let's start off with the hardneck. Hardneck garlics, they tend to have more flavor than the soft neck garlics, if you. And oftentimes, they could be spicy or hot. The Georgian fire that I mentioned before is a hardneck. So it's understandable why it would have that. Not sure why we don't see them in your local grocery store. It's almost like you have to actually go to or wait for, in my circumstance, wait for the herb man at the St. Paul Farmers Market to show up, because I don't find any vendor or grocery store or that offers like Georgian fire. Yes, they do offer hardnecks, but specifically the one that I need, that I want, that I desire, the Georgian fire, yeah, they don't have that one. So more often, you're just simply going to find your standard garlic. They refer to them as porcelain. Those are the ones that you're actually going to find. They need to have a long cold winter. They need to have a long winter so that they could really start to sprout and flower and grow. And there are characteristics that you could find if you were to cut that garlic in half. You could actually see where the central stalk is in each one of the garlic cloves themselves. A lot of times at the farmer's market, you could spot those because it has on the outside, the skin it's thinner skins, and it has a rosy type of color or on the outside. But how can you use the hard neck? I talked about using it in salsa, of course, but you can definitely use it in meats specifically, especially if you're doing like a roast, gamier type of meats, or ones that you might feel that are not, you want, not even mask. I don't want to use that word. You want the flavor. You don't want to notice the gamier, I guess, characteristics of the meat going to be really infused and take on those full flavor notes of the garlic. So, for instance, venison, duck, even some vinegar is a great one. These hard neck ones are also great if you're trying to do a hard neck garlic. Now we'll move into the soft neck. Soft necks, it's just as what it sounds like, and sometimes, as they've described, a high clove count within a yeah, within the actual bulb of about 30. I've not seen that before. I don't ever think I've seen a bulb past 12 that has 12 cloves in them. So that's probably a good, I don't know where you would actually see that. I mean, only a garlic grower or vendor could probably tell you if they've ever seen that. I don't think you've even seen that in the store. But the soft necks are the all-purpose garlics. They work in any type of dish. If the garlic is more of a flavor feature, you definitely want to, because you don't want it overpowering. Definitely in that salad dressing, it has more of a grassy taste, and it doesn't have that bite of a hard neck, like the Georgia Fire or the Chilean Red. When you have processed garlic foods, for instance, like garlic powder or seasonings, you're always going to find that these are from within the soft neck garlic category. And we won't go into the different varieties of the like soft neck and hard neck and so forth. I mean, because they span so many different types, and we don't have time for, even though I could talk about that all day, because there are others that we want to talk about. But there's your soft neck. I mean, again, examples of putting it in, where you could use it is salad dressings, where you don't want that garlic taste to be really overpowering. I could see that you could roast. This is the time when you really want to just kind of like cut the top off, pour some olive oil over, drizzle olive oil over the top of that garlic, maybe some salt and pepper, and then roast it in the oven. And then, honestly, to have that mixed in with maybe some goat cheese on a cracker, or just to spread it on some toast. Yeah, there's something for you to experiment with today. Okay, here's one that's it's still a soft neck. It can be considered a soft neck, let me put it that way. This one's a Creole garlic. I don't think I've seen a Creole garlic. It's in a class really by itself. It has about 12 different cloves, and oftentimes it is a really a beautiful light pink or even a purple hue to the garlic. It tends to be that color all the time. but it adds a rich, beautiful color to whatever dish that you're making. Oftentimes, these you could find in warmer climates. And example of the types of places or dishes, excuse me, or cuisines that you would find them in, Cuban or Dominican, uh, Ecuadorian. They have, um, gosh, didn't even realize that they have wine references to their names at that, which is kind of interesting. But like the in Chilean Red and the Georgia Fire that we talked about, these type also have a heat to them. They're very pungent, and they have, again, a different type of heat, flavor, or level. Uh, Interestingly enough, this website actually encourages you do a sniff test of a garlic, because it could then tell you how much of a bite the garlic is actually going to have. So there is nothing wrong with actually picking up a garlic and smelling it. I mean, did you ever think about doing that? You know, so it will give you an opportunity to see if this will be the appropriate garlic that you want to use, maybe for a specific dish that you want to prepare. Uh, that's the only way that you'll be able to at least gauge. Okay, well, especially if you're a person that you are adventurous and you want to see how a vegetable might change or the characteristics of a dish. Do that. Pick up a garlic and smell, and especially if you've had maybe a dish before and you're like, okay, well, I know that I've made this before and I've liked this flavor to it, or I've liked this flavor the way that it was. Now if I'm smelling this garlic, how is that going to possibly change what I'm used to smelling or the flavor profile that I'm used to tasting with that particular dish? Because man, I'm telling you, I could think of different opportunities to put garlics and stuff aside from just a salad dressings, salsa or pico de gallo. But I put garlic in chili. I've definitely done garlic, herb garlic butter or base for maybe a pork loin or a pork steak, a steak or pork chop, excuse me, that I talked about earlier in the show. So don't think you're crazy by picking up a garlic and smelling it, because it will give you an opportunity to find out if this is the appropriate garlic for your dish. And especially if you're at a farmer's market, your vendor, they're there to, honestly, I think they really feel happy when you ask them, hey, what type of garlic is this? Or how can I use this? What do you suggest? Or what have you used this garlic for? I'm not familiar with it, or this vegetable. Can you give me a suggestion or on how to prepare it? Well, I think they're really happy when you engage them in conversation with that. So ask them, and don't be embarrassed to pick up a garlic and smell it and say, hey, this smells like spicy. I probably won't like it. I don't want to forget you all out there, my audience listeners. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We're in the middle of talking about garlic. I know it was a little smelly subject, but when you like garlic and you're finding out that there are a variety of different garlics out there, yeah, you kind of get excited about it and you want to share it with people. So, but if you have a comment or a suggestion, let's just say you have a suggestion on how to use maybe a garlic that you are new to and you put it in a new dish, give me a call. 651-200-3479. Again, 651-200-3479. I'm here to take your phone calls. So feel free. Remember, this is a show to share. So I am not here just to share my points of view or I thoughts and research and so forth. I would love to hear from you as well. So feel free to give me a call and share your suggestions or comments because I'd love to hear from them. All right, so I'm going to talk about one more type of garlic. Yes, I know. We're talking about garlic. We've been talking about garlic for a while, but there are so many different types you don't understand. And we're only touching on, a small, certain categories. I'm not going into, again, these are categories. So within those categories, there are going to be the variety of different garlics that are underneath those categories. We're not there yet. We're not going to go that route, but I'm at least going to talk to you about the topical portion of, okay, these are the categories of garlic that garlics fall under. So we've talked about hard neck, soft neck. We've talked about Creole. Here's the last one for right now. It is black garlic. And, black garlic, it's funny how they describe it. They stated that like many a superhero, the origins of black garlic, they're uncertain and shrouded in mystery. It sounds like a story already started. But it's dated to be known centuries old, or created, grown, found in places such as Egypt and Korea. So there are a lot of different types of. I have not had them, but apparently it is a rich plum type of taste, very little hint of vinegar, a bit chewy, almost like you're eating dry, really good dried fruit. So if you know someone that does not like garlic, this will actually be probably the best one to actually use. Only because it won't stand out. It won't have that garlic flavor. It is a garlic, but again, with that plum taste associated with it, it will taste like they're eating fruit. And you're probably thinking, okay, how is that possible? It has notes of dark caramel, like chocolate, a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of sweetness, and a lot of flavor or umami. A lot of times it could be dehydrated and caramelized over a time period and just eaten as a snack, if you would. And I find that very interesting. And this is just information, suggestions on what to do with it. But some people do actually. Remember, I talked about, I believe it was on the soft neck garlic versions, where if you cut off the top of the garlic, exposing maybe the garlic cloves, so you have to use a really sharp knife, and then do the drizzle with olive oil and then roast it. Well, likewise with this, you're going to, you could dehydrate it, you could ferment it, use it with something sweet, and caramelize it, and it's not going to taste like a garlic. So individuals that don't really like the garlic, yeah, you could kind of trick them. I don't suggest that, but you could kind of. Anyway, for this one, for black garlics, you can use it in marinades, really good sauces or vinaigrettes. There is even a suggestion of using black. infusing chocolate with this black garlic to make chocolate cake. Now, that seems like very far-fetched, but clearly because of the taste and flavor profile of this black garlic, already have that fruitiness or plum taste, to mix it in with some chocolate, um, and infuse it in that chocolate. You could only imagine what that would actually taste like. Gosh, I wonder if they could do that with maybe a glass of. Can you do that with a glass of wine? Probably. You know, or not a glass of wine, but a bottle. I've never really heard of that. Anyway, those are just some things that you could do. Those are just the suggestions that you have for black garlic. The marinades, vinaigrettes, sauces, and so forth, and even dessert, because of that fruit flavor that it has. So there you have it. I know we've been talking about garlic all this time. It's a topic that I don't think I've ever really delved into, and I'm glad that I have today. I know we're in the cold weather season, but before you know it, we are going to be in spring, and we'll have an opportunity to start making things, all things that are fresh and new at the farmer's market. Why not? That's what I would like to do, and hopefully others will want to do as well. I'm praying already. We really haven't gone into the winter, and I'm already praying for spring. Really, I'm not even pretending. I'm not. I love the different seasons here in Minnesota. However, winter is not my favorite. I'm just going to tell you that. All right. So, moving on, I want to cover. There was a topic, or an organization, I'll say, that I mentioned some time ago in past shows, but I wanted to go a little bit in depth and find out some more research about them. So I did that. And the organization I'm talking about is Eastside Table. And they are described as an organization that is looking to nourish neighborhoods and families, and offering people an opportunity to have full and happy lives, and specifically with food. So in doing that, they are an organization that is comprised of 13 community organizations that are working together to make a preparation of meals at home easier for people that are in the community and within the culture, with the various cultures that we have within St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. And it's giving people an opportunity to empower themselves and learn about different foods, improve upon their food skills, be more aware and healthy. So this organization, mentioned they have 13 community organizations that are basically working together, and Eastside Elders, Clues, Urban Roots, Neighborhood House, Kitchen on the Bluff, American Indian Family Center, many others. But specifically, I'm going to mention about Local Crate. And I say Local Crate because they play a key part in the Eastside Tables project. They offer make-at-home meal kits, and it's a pilot program that started in late 2016. But then they started to partner with Eastside Table and building a meal kit that is, again, focusing on families improving their skills on cooking and making food more accessible, because and cost effective. Because remember, even though I talk about this being a food show and we talk about restaurants and so forth, not everyone has an opportunity to go out to a restaurant. Believe me, I don't. Not each and every time or each and every week. everybody is on a budget or thinking of ways on how I can save money, or um, how can I use my funds more effectively, efficiently, cost effective. Family, no matter what number of amount of family members you have, everyone wants to be able to cook a great meal and know that they're either saving money or not health conscious, if you would, especially when we're living in an age where people are suffering from diabetes, heart disease, um, you know, those that are overweight or don't have even the ability to get out and do the exercises or movements that they need to live a healthier lifestyle. Perhaps they might be older and they can't move around as much as they used to in the past. Um, family members can help by getting involved and preparing a meal for them. And here again is where Local Crate and Eastside Table they create these meal programs. And Local Crate use their expertise to really come up with a format and meals that are, again, considering our neighborhoods and the communities, formats or foods and cuisines that are culturally appropriate. And recognize that really means a lot. It really says a lot too. They're focused and aware of the types of individuals that are within the types of cultures, I should say, that are within the community, and not just here's a recipe that, without considering, is this something that the community is used to eating, or and that's not to say that they're not willing to introduce folks to new things and so forth. But if people are familiar with a particular menu or a recipe, and they see ways or are able to go to their local grocery store and pick up these items, or have a product such as the home meal kit, make it home meal kit, basically provide them all those ingredients, I'm quite sure that they'll feel more confident in making that meal at home, and knowing that, wow, I've saved a bunch of money, or I've learned how to make a cuisine that I've loved for so long, but I just haven't had the opportunity to really do it on my own myself. Well, here they have an opportunity to do that. So, Local Crate, they are Minnesota based, so they work with also Street Fleet, which is a Minnesota based courier service, so that they can provide those meal kits to people of the community. So if you're definitely interested, make sure that you are going to you can find out information by visiting Eastside Table, and learn more about them on their website, eastsidetable.org. Click on meal kits, and you'll find out much more information. It talks more about the organization itself, shows how you can get involved as well, in various ways, and how you're able to use this program to help your family, to help you, to empower the community even more so. So again, visit eastsidetable.org to find out much more information about them. And again, organization that is bringing a program to help empower individuals within the community. So thank you for that, as well as all the other community organizations that are working and partnering with them. Okay, beef jerky. I'm not really jumping around, but I'm going from one segment to another. before I go on to beef jerky, I'm just going to talk about a beef jerky. Well, someplace that is open that basically is focusing on selling all things that are beef jerky. Um, Again, I'm encouraging you, give us a call on that segment on Eastside Table. Maybe you've had an opportunity to participate or in a meal program, a prepackaged meal program where they're providing you with um, the ingredients and giving you the instructions on how to make it at home. Give me a call here, 651-200-3479. Again, 651-200-3479. And just remember, even after the show ends, the conversation still continues on. So you could always reach me also by any of my social media or not say or, and by email, which is the unbougiefoodie@gmail.com. More than happy to engage more with a conversation with listeners and readers that want to find out maybe a suggestion or just talk on a topic. So feel free to reach out. I am here for you. And hopefully we could impart some food knowledge back and forth between ourselves. So, okay, I want to move on to, like I said, beef jerky. All right, so in Minneapolis, this actually happened a couple of weeks ago, really. But I just thought, okay, I have to talk about it because beef jerky is, I don't know, when you are hiking, when you're just relaxing, wanting to have a snack. Gotta be careful though because of the sodium. But I have never been or never knew that there was a retail store for beef jerky. Jack's, what did they? Jack's Links or Jack Links. Yeah, they now have a beef jerky store, and it's in the newly renovated Target Center. So you could go there and I mean, there's just so much stuff that you could go there based on beef jerky. I mean, yes, of course you could get the beef jerky, but then there's winter gear, there's thermoses and water bottles and just anything that bears some type of beef jerky type of aspect. Yeah, you could go there. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But if you know specifically where the Target Center is, you've probably seen the name Wildside. So Wildside, here you have opportunity to purchase anything, really. It's not just dried meat, but Wildside gives you an opportunity to purchase products that are associated with beef jerky. And yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that I'm going to have to go there myself because yeah, it's a different, I would say, a different type of experience, I would say, if you're going to purchase things that are beef jerky related. But if you want to find out more, there's a lot more products and so forth that you can find out about. So www.jacklinks.com. You could find out, about the different products that are available. And believe it or not, they even provide you with the nutrition on each one of packages. And yeah, so look out for that as well. Check that out on their website. That is www.jacklinks.com. So there you have it. if if you're all interested in beef jerky and anything that is related, make sure that you're visiting Wildside. Uh, you know, and if you're interested specifically on where they're located, let me give you that address. They are located at 600 First Avenue North. That's the Target Center Skyway level, and that's Minneapolis, Minnesota 55403. They're open today, so check them out. If you are a person that likes to have a good adult beverage, referred to as a Bloody Mary, and you'd like to have maybe beef jerky or something in it, yeah, this is a place to go to. So that's just a thought. I'm throwing that out there. Just a thought. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. Once again, I want to encourage you. Please follow me on social media, Facebook specifically. The Un-Bougie Foodie. Oh my! You could certainly visit. You can certainly visit my website, which is www.theunbougiefoodie.com, where you'll find out more information about articles that I've written, for a local community newspaper, as well as just, there'll be some every now and then a daily comment or discussion about food with friends. And definitely recordings of the live shows that we do every Saturday right here at 10 a.m. I want to also give a shout out to Dr. Turnerberg. He is the show that's following mine, Doing Good with Food. Make sure that you check him out and give him some support too, just as much as you've given me. So I want to thank WEQY for this opportunity. As always, remember that you are listening to 104.7 FM WEQY LP St. Paul. I am Wesley Wright, your show host for the Un-Bougie Foodie. Check me out on the TuneIn app every Saturday at 10 a.m. If you're unable to listen to that on your local radio station, make sure to download that app, and you can listen to me on the go. Again, that's the TuneIn app, or again, feel free to check us out here on WEQY 104.7. As I close, I'd like to end the show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, thank you for being my audience. So, thank you. I hope you have a pleasant Saturday. Make sure you go out and have some great food. Enjoy. And remember, never let anyone tell you what kind of food you to be, because really, it is all about the food.